Now it's recording Samuel, and it's got my voice, and it's sounding really bad up on the pod.
This is going on social.
Oh no. Why would you? And I'm so sorry.
You could have stopped there, but don't let that get in the way of a good
Don't
trick.
waste your time on me. How you doing, Sam?
Brother,
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 I wanted to bring in like the good version of that, like brother,
brother,
brother, ooh la la,
brother. How are you, brother?
brother,
That's just any like Greek or Italian businessman. How are you, brother?
brother, and he daps you up, and
Or
you're
like a
man.
Lebanese real estate agent. How are you, brother? Good to see you, brother. Come through. It's 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, brother.
You're as white as me. For the listeners, not the viewers. Like we're both pretty white men.
I am of Caucasian nature.
Exactly. Muggleton might have given it away, but
Dutch.
The have that sip. Is your default the handshake or the dap?
I'm not cool enough for a dap.
Neither.
But if someone comes in for a dap, I get so nervous.
Oh man, I'm
fuck.
shit. Like
I might miss here. But
I'm sure everyone of any ethnicity knows that white people don't automatically go the dap.
No.
And we shit ourselves. When the hand's up, we're like, oh, fuck. Is this a handshake time or is this a dap
Yeah.
time? Who knows what's going on?
if it's someone I know,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't dap you.
No.
But I'd dap up some of my mates, but
The footy boys?
the footy boys,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just
It's crisp.
it's crisp.
It's
But
crisp.
if it's you and I, like let's try and dap up right now.
Oh, I don't like
Let's
this.
move this out of the way.
This is going to be the
is-
most white thing ever
If you want to
recorded.
see two blokes who lost their virginities far too late in life, try and be cool. Watch this or listen to this. We'll try and make it crisp.
It's going to suck. So anyway.
For starters, Max has gone the wrong way with the microphone, which is shocking. But all right, I'm a bit nervous. I'm going to put the mic over here so people can hear this.
Let's slap that down.
The fact you've said, let's slap that dap. Can I dap that dog? Oh, this is why I don't know how we have girlfriends. Yeah, we are. Oh, you went at it so weird.
What have I done? I just go ahead. Come on.
You got to give it a bit of. There's got to be a bit of flexibility and rhythm.
stiff.
You've come at it so wooden.
I'm famously stiff. Come on. Let's go. Let's get in there.
You got to be fluid. I'm nervous for you.
I've got to pull the microphone back around. Sam's coming at this like he is of ethnic descent. He is not.
I've got fluidity. Max has come at it pure rigid.
Mate, drummer's wrists. Stiff as a board. Anyway.
One more time. Fluidity. No, it was okay, but it was still yuck. That did not feel
It
natural.
sounded crisp,
for
it didn't
us.
look crisp.
That was not natural. In some things, yeah, that didn't sit well with me.
No.
So we'll
We've
be
just,
handshaking.
I think we've just broken the Geneva Convention or
what
some
I'll
kind of hate
say
crime.
for
law.
people watching,
Yeah.
let's show them how well we handshake. Ready?
Oh, sorry.
Max, how are you, sir?
Samuel, it's a pleasure. Let's do business. Little cheeky finger on the inside.
Yeah. Anyway. And that wasn't the handshake. Get out of it.
Look, yeah, so we're both pretty white. I think we've established
Yeah.
that.
So what are you?
If you're a new listener,
Yes.
if you've come to us and you're thinking, damn, these guys, they look like, they could be cool. No. Park that.
No, I'd say if there was to be a competition, neither of us would win.
No, I'd lose more. I've long resigned to the fact that I'm not a cool person.
But you don't need to be cool in order to be
A nerd.
Well, it's like Mum always said. You don't need to be cool if you're comfortable in your own shoes.
Thanks, Mrs.
Now,
Muggleton.
you tell those bullies.
Would you jump off a bridge if everyone was doing it?
I don't know. Is the bridge collapsing? There's a lot to think about here, Mum.
Yeah, Mum. What is this? The fucking trolley problem? If I jump off the bridge,
Is there an earthquake?
Yeah.
Is there a large tsunami?
There's 5 people who are jumping off a bridge, or there's one person jumping off a bridge, Sam. Well, that one person is me, or the 5 people. There's a trolley coming, Sam. Now, do you jump off the bridge if everyone else jumps off the bridge?
Yes.
Yeah. See, Mum?
Peer pressure's a hell of a thing.
Hell of a drug.
But anyway, let's get to the music because we've been rolling for 3/5 of fucking bugger all.
We've just been dapping.
And I was, as I've learnt from one of our great mutual friends, when I come to someone's house, I just want to walk through all the rooms.
You do love poking.
Or if I'm in someone's car, open up the glove box, open up the middle compartment.
You love looking. You're a curious boy.
Curiosity killed the cat. And I was looking through your drawers, and between all the underpants, I actually found Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock.
Yeah, on the Nintendo Wii.
Just get it in frame. On the Nintendo WII.
Yeah. The W2.
And I just want to get a bit of a track list.
Yeah, please.
If I can find it.
Yeah, I reckon I could get most of these, I reckon. It would be on the internet, I believe, is where you'll find the track list.
Oh, so it won't be in the instruction manual?
No.
I've got the health and safety precautions, actually.
Oh, yeah. Always wear your Wii remote with the strap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to yeet your Wiimote into the TV playing baseball.
Can I eat that dog? I know where you're going with this. No.
You're a bit behind on your trends. But anyway, I just thought that was a nice... Oh, here we go. So we've got Anarchy in the UK, Ruby, Sabotage. So I don't know any of those.
Ruby by Kaiser Chiefs. Ruby.
Oh, these are tracks. I was like, I've never heard of these
Sabotage
bands.
by Beastie Boys?
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Knights of Sidonia, that's Muse. Welcome to the Jungle, obviously Black Sabbath.
Yeah. Yep.
Just kidding.
Stunning Moses, as we... that classic band.
It's Guns N' Roses.
Oh, shit. Yep.
Stunning Moses, I get that now.
Oh, it took a sec.
With their boy Slice.
Yep.
Number of the Beast, that's by a band.
Yep.
One, obviously by... I couldn't think of anything. Metallica.
One Direction. Yep.
Yep. Paint It Black, obviously by the Rolling Pebbles.
Yeah.
Paranoid.
Yep.
Helicopter, Cherub Rock.
Yep.
Which is interesting. That's sort of like a good rock song when I'm a little bit excited. Cherub, I've always assumed just went in the half chub conversation.
Do you know what a cherub is?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Just checking.
It was those spy novels from when I was a kid.
They were the shit ones compared to
No, they were good.
Alex Rider.
Yeah, Stormbreaker.
They were the sick one. They were like they were legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the movie sucked.
Hey?
That movie sucked.
Yeah, it did. But we're not a movie podcast.
No, we're not. We're a
Bulls
music
on
podcast.
Parade by Tom Morello.
Yeah.
She
FL.
Bangs a Drum by Auntie Donna. Everything's a drum. The Seeker by Boo. When You Were Young.
Yeah, The Killers.
The Killers. And before I forget, Slipknot.
Before you forget, Slipknot.
Oh, get fucked. That's the worst one. But
Also,
anyway,
I believe Miss Murder AFI was on there too.
well, it's not on the track listing.
That's not a comprehensive.
Oh, it does
track
say
list.
70 rocking.
Yeah,
Rockin' tracks.
Rockin'.
Rock on! Become a true rock legend with Rock Octane's exclusive Guitar Hero Les Paul controller.
Oh, that is a hot brand collab.
Yeah.
You just tracked me in our long-standing
Yep.
Playlist. What do you call it? In our long-standing segment. Wow, that's
I don't know where you're going.
Our long-standing segment. I wanted to look at the soundtrack for the 2006 film Stormbreaker. I predicted right by the Kaiser Chiefs.
Yep.
Feel Good by the Gorillaz.
Can I just interject here?
No. Yes, please.
I've always put Kaiser Chiefs in the same conversation as Kasabian.
Similar vibe.
I know nothing about either of those bands, and the only reference I've ever known about either of those bands is Peep Show.
Yeah.
Where he's like, Kasabian. Of course it's Kasabian.
Kasabian.
That's all I know.
One of those bands, the perfect double J band.
Yeah, so that's right.
You know what I mean?
Not right up my alley at all.
Like there's a few Kasabian songs that I'll listen to, and they're the kind of band that if they were on like a festival lineup, they'd be like second from the headliner, and people would be like, "It's so good to see Kasabian back," and then there'd be like 15 people in the mosh. And like, I'm not saying that Kasabian aren't good. I'm just saying like they're the kind of band that a big festival organizer would be like, "They were so good when I saw them last in like 2010."
And no one gives a shit.
And they've just moved so far out of the social, like the social conversation, especially in Australia now.
Yeah.
Like, not a slight at all on Kasabian, but just
So-
haven't released
That's
relevant
actually
music in a while.
probably a nice little segment we can roll into because I feel like they are a transparent band
Yeah.
on a lineup.
Yeah.
So for me, a transparent band is a band that you read on a lineup
Yeah.
that you just do not interact with at all. You don't even say, oh, they're shit.
Yep.
They're just non-existent to you.
Yep.
I would put Kasabian and Kaiser Chiefs on there.
I liked Kaiser Chiefs more than I liked Kasabian because I think Kaiser Chiefs had probably like two like solid songs.
Yep.
And then went away.
I would put...
I couldn't name a single Kasabian song.
No. But, I mean, if you can think on the spot, because I've got a few that I can rattle off.
Yeah, let's go.
So, transparent bands.
Yeah.
Birds of Tokyo.
Oh, you do forget how good they are live, though.
Yeah, but they're transparent.
Like, they're not... I'd say they're not a draw. Like, I wouldn't buy a ticket because Birds of Tokyo are on, but if I was there, I'd go see them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some others that are in the realm, but I can't think of the... See, this is the thing. I know the bands I'm thinking of, but I can't think of their names.
I used to think about Arcade Fire, and I still do to some degree.
Yep, I agree. They did the Her
people
soundtrack.
and people fucking love Arcade Fire, and I've always
Who
like,
are these? These people don't exist. They are NPCs.
the Arcade Fire had a couple of songs.
So yeah, I found them. I can rattle them off because they all are related artists to Muse.
I don't mind Muse. Hey?
Placebo.
Oh,
Franz Ferdinand.
Nah, Franz Ferdinand is sick.
Kasabian pops up there. Fucking woe is me, hey.
You're just naming British bands from 2000 to
Royal
2006.
Blood. They're transparent to me.
But I feel like Royal Blood and Nothing But Thieves to me are often in the same conversation.
Arcade Fire's there. Interpol.
Oh, Interpol.
Who are they?
Yeah, not for me.
A Perfect Circle. They're on every like Good Thing, Soundwave Festival. I could not name you one song. Who are they?
Okay, I might expose myself here. Are A Perfect Circle? Are they the shoegaze band?
I don't know. Are
I'll
they
look
like
that
the
up.
Smashing Pumpkins?
Man,
I feel like
I fuck with the Smashing Pumpkins.
Primus? Who the fuck are Primus?
The South Park theme songwriters.
Ah,
Like real weird.
Not Optimus Primus.
Optimus Primus. A Perfect Circle, American rock band. Are they shoegaze though? Let's find out. What's Maynard? It's the guy from Tool. Sam, it's the guy from Tool.
Perfect Circle?
Yeah, it's the guy from Sam's Tool, the greatest band of all time, Tool.
If you don't like Tool, you just don't understand them.
Brother, what are you doing? It's Tool.
Brother, I love Tool.
Brother Tool.
You know who doesn't have a Tool?
Yeah.
Tool listeners.
We have gone a long way to not talk about any music at this point. But that's okay.
But, no.
I will say,
no,
just if we go to transparent bands.
Yeah, transparent bands.
Fuck with Franz Ferdinand.
No.
Man, Take Me Out is an all-timer. The people love it.
Take me out to the bin and remove this song from the existence of the fucking world.
I see Interpol. Interpol is right up there for me into transparent bands. A Band of Horses.
Yep. Who?
Yep.
Oh, I've got one after you, actually.
Yeah, go for it.
Phoenix.
Nah, I fuck a bit with Phoenix. But Phoenix do, like, in the sense that I agree with you in terms of, like, Phoenix often get a huge run on a festival bill. I'll see them. I will go see them because I like some of their songs.
Would you pay to see them on their own?
Have they had a good support act?
Yeah, so no. LCD Sound System for me. I'd
say
also
LCD
say, yeah. The other one I'd throw in there that's transparent to the point of completely irrelevant. Vampire Weekend.
Oh. Look, it's okay to be wrong, Sam. And sometimes you just have to wear it, you know?
I would go out of my way. You know that video of the Russian guy about a kilometre away from a festival, just behind a tree, and he's singing and then pulls the power on the festival?
No, but sure. You've painted quite the picture for me.
I've just inserted it here.
Yeah.
Вот, ребят, что надо сделать. Вот это, вот нажать вот на это. Гаси свет!
That would be me. Right. I would go out of my way on a Vampire Weekend tour across the country to find the nearest power box and just yank the power. So no one has to go through the pain of listening to the Vampire Weekend.
We're gonna do an episode coming up. And you can pick a reverse band for me where you have to sit down and listen to every Vampire Weekend album and give me your genuine thoughts. Like, not the thoughts you've got going in.
Yeah, watch me turn around and be like, oh, it's not bad.
Yeah, you'll be like, oh, fuck, I actually quite like this one.
And when I say that,
yeah,
Take me out the back and don't let me ever come back inside.
I'll throw you off the balcony.
Yeah. I do.
You can pick the reverse band, the band that you know that I hate, and make me listen to them. That's fine. And I'll give you a genuine review. But I want to force you to listen to Vampire Weekend.
That sounds like... Oh, you know why? Because they were on Watch Dogs and you've got that fucking game in your... Anyway.
Vampire Weekend on Watch Dogs?
Diane Young.
Oh, that's a good song, though.
Yeah, there he is.
Anyway.
We're getting sidetracked because something new
Yeah.
is important. Because I've got some very exciting things, but I'm interested to know yours first.
Let's go with you.
No, I'm interested to know yours.
Yeah, but you
don't have anything?
No. Frankly, I don't. And I was going to try and cover it up, but here we are. I'm exposed in a vulnerable position, Sam, and I like it not.
He's been caught with his pants down.
Red-handed, Sam.
I've been really getting into Ethel Cain at the moment.
Ethel Cain.
Here he goes. He's trying to search his brain to see if he's ever heard of Ethel Cain.
The filing cabinet's not pulling up many results, I'll tell you that much.
No, that's okay. So, you wouldn't believe it. She's a pretty sad songwriter.
Oh, okay.
But
What a change.
Heartbreakingly heavy lyrics that is in the realm of like... I don't really know how you'd classify it, but holy shit. Beautiful songwriting.
I think the way I'd classify Ethel is looking at it's a woman, her.
It's a woman.
Her profile picture on Apple Music is a person with black hair in a black shirt standing against a mostly black background.
Yeah, but what you don't know about Ethel Cain, which I'll show you, which I can play in this as well. This is Ethel Cain.
Oh hey, it's me, Gollum. I've been trying to get my ring back from those stupid filthy hobbitses, but I'm dummy thick and the sound of my ass cheeks clapping keeps alerting the guards.
That is fucking pretty good. I don't mind that. That's pretty funny.
So she was a viral meme.
Right.
But she's also a great singer.
Right.
But I've been loving American Teenager. That's from her album, her sort of latest album called Preacher's Daughter.
Yep.
It's a great song. And A House in Nebraska. Don't listen to it too much because it's absolutely crushing. It'll make you feel like your heart weighs 1,000 kilos. But I love that shit.
I would say that you listen to a lot of sad music, Sam.
Where'd that part go?
Yeah.
Where did it go? Down the river. I do listen to a lot of sad music, Max, but for some reason it just like... I don't know. It just resonates with me. And I'm not sad internally. I don't go home and stare at a wall and listen to rain music. I don't know.
You just have a big capacity to feel.
I've got a big emotion. If I'm in a room...
You've got a big emotion. You've got the one big emotion.
I'm so much emotion. I'm staring out the window. You know, Breakaways playing in the background by Kelly Clarkson. I Am the music video. No. I forget how the song goes. But anyway.
It did sound like you're about to hook in a bit of
Batman.
No, Hey Jude, but na.
Who?
Judith? Lucy? Comedian? Her song?
Hey
Her theme
Judith
song?
Lucy.
Hey Judith Lucy.
She has to be one of the most funny people I've ever met.
Oh, she's got some good
I've
bits.
never met her.
I was going to say, yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. She's my auntie. Okay. And every time I see her, hey Judith.
Hey Jude. No. It's enough for you. All right. What are your something's new? Was it Ethel? Was it just Ethel? You said multiple things and then you've just gone with Ethel.
Yeah, I've been just getting into the slow jam. I've been getting into a lot of female artists, actually, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Getting was a strong term to use then.
That's not what I meant. Getting into a lot of female-fronted music.
Yeah.
Even that sounded weird. You've made me sound...
Gutter brain.
Ethel Cain's obviously one.
Yep.
Grace Gardner I discovered recently, who's very cool. Delaney Bailey, I'll give her a shout out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Tiffy, who we found the other week.
Yep.
Her song Chemtrails is so sick.
That song does fucking rule. Not even a sad song, just a fucking...
Oh, it's just a vibe.
In the same... I mean, I think the same scene, like coming out of the same scene as Egoism, but I'd put it in the same like bracket of music.
Fuck, I miss Egoism.
Moment of silence.
Great. Are they? They're still around.
They're still around. They're not. Oh, they're no one's like physically or metaphorically dead. It's fine. But just
I just think they're
I haven't
taking their
listened to
time.
music lately, and I'm
No,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sad. The other thing I did, have been getting into, I shat all over them on TikTok in a comedic way. It wasn't at all serious, but I said you should never go swimming with the Amity Affliction because all they talk about is drowning and seeing demons down the well, and they love water.
down the well makes me think of like Jimmy's stuck down the well.
I know,
Quick.
but I've seen the devil at the bottom of the well.
Yeah.
Is a legit line from Holier Than Heaven, I think, was
Right.
what I put it on. But I messaged you during the week. I said, I know I just shat on them, but fuck Amity are so good.
They do have some fucking ripping bangers.
Like, I listened to Pittsburgh the other day for probably the first time in 5 or 6 years, and far out.
yeah, fuck yeah.
What a song.
Man, I struggle to go past like anything off Chasing Ghosts. That album fucking holds up.
I think that album and Let the Ocean Take Me was just like peak Amity.
Yeah.
That was when I was seeing them at the River Stage. I didn't care how many times I'd seen them. I would go and see them every time they were here.
Yep.
They actually are. They're playing Let the Ocean Take Me in full
Ooh.
in a new tour. And I'm thinking, boys are on here.
That is a little bit naughty.
Let me just bring it up because I'm like, I don't think I've ever gone to a heavy show with you. Have I?
Well, we've been to Good Things together.
Oh, yeah.
We're bring me at Good Things together.
Let the Ocean Take Me. Here we go. Yeah.
The Way Down. Banger.
Oh, that's okay.
It's pretty
FML, Death's Hand, Give It All.
Yeah.
So it is. They will marking the 10th anniversary of Let the Ocean Take Me. Each night they'll perform the album in full. Joining them, the bands joining them aren't that good. But 8th of November at the River Stage.
Sure. I'm not here. I'm at a Coldplay gig that night.
Oh, you've seen the Play of Cold.
Yeah.
It's a sad day, especially the Brisbane music. I forgot to turn my sound off. Putting something in the bin.
You know what? It's apt. It's apt, Sam.
It is. I just put the zoo in the bin.
I was going to say the zoo is not yet dead, and you're already trying to throw that body in the bin, in the incinerator.
Completely accidental. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. But it is a sad day because a venue that you and I both love, that we've seen some incredible music at, that we've actually had some good memories there.
Yeah, fucking A.
I don't know if we've seen any gigs together there, but
I think we've done like big sounds together there, and like,
Yeah.
where we've like gone in and seen a couple of bands, whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you and I have ever booked a ticket to a show
No.
there together,
the zoo's shutting up shop, and
which
it's
is
very sad.
it's extremely sad. It's one of the longest running venues, like consistently running venues in the country. It's been running for 32 years, 1992.
Yeah, it's older than me.
It's older than me as well.
Just.
It's okay. Didn't know drive by. It's bands like Powderfinger and Regurgitator and
Soho.
Screamfeeder and Soho and like Nick Cave and Warren Ellis came together at that place. Like untold history.
Yeah.
At the zoo. It's for people that are from Brisbane know the zoo. Like we probably don't have to explain it to them. But for
No.
people who aren't from Brizzy, if you're like,
I'd say it's like if you're into music
yeah,
and you love live gigs,
Yeah.
you've been to the zoo minimum 4 or 5 times. In Brisbane.
everyone who's going to gigs has been to the zoo
Yeah.
a heap of times. And it's like they will put on any kind of artist,
Yep.
any kind of show, big, small. Like you get bands that are huge that do surprise. It's the place that you go to do a surprise show after
big time.
like a big tour.
And I guess for people listening, it's pretty much, it's just a little red door in the middle, not in the middle, it's towards the end of the valley,
Yep.
like in the grand scheme of things.
Of the party part of the valley.
Of the party part of the valley, yeah.
Yeah.
So you walk a block and you're right in the heart of
Yeah.
nightlife. But it's a little red door, you walk up a set of stairs, and it feels just like a school hall.
Yeah.
It's just a big open space, stairs in the middle to and from, and then there's pool tables out the back, there's a bar. It's all open. It's just a great time.
I think it's going to really damage the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like it's the venue that you play. There'd be a lot of Brizzy bands who said when they're starting out, if we play the zoo, then we know we're onto something.
Yeah.
Because it's the first one you play when you've like taken that big step to we're playing a big room.
Yeah.
Like you're not playing a huge room. I think I couldn't tell you the cap off the top of my head.
I reckon
couple
it'd be
hundred,
I reckon it's up there like 3 or 4.
3 or 4, which is not huge. But it's enough.
bigger than the bright side.
It's enough when you're like, wow, like we've stepped up. We're playing the zoo.
Yeah.
It's iconic in how it's designed, in that it looks like shit in the best way possible.
Yeah, it feels like live music. It feels how live music should be.
Yeah.
It's not overproduced. It's not trying to sell you. It's not like your bigger venues where you walk in, it's glitz and glamour. There's no chandeliers above you. There's no $16 drinks. It's just...
There's just
beer.
shit hanging off the walls.
Yeah, there's beer. They've got a Red Bull fridge.
Yep.
If you want to mix it with vodka, you can, but it's going to cost you like $12.
Yep.
Not in this day and age. It's probably going to cost you 16.
Yeah.
But it's just no fuss. Everyone's there for the music. You play some pool out the back if you want to.
Yeah.
It's on the second level, so you can sort of look over the valley and the chaos.
Yeah.
There's like open windows and shit. It's just the little things that make a huge difference. You can sit by an open window and watch live music. Like,
I think so. I was talking with some people who used to work at the zoo quite recently, and they were saying that
friends of the show,
even, and they were saying that 2023 was the most, by volume, the most tickets they've ever sold.
Yeah.
They are selling out shows so frequently, which is great. Great for music, great for the bands. The problem is that people, because of cost of living crises, people are going to those shows, but they're not splurging on a couple of drinks. They're not buying merch. They're not buying food. They're there. They're paying because the ticket price is up. They're paying to go see that band, and they'll fuck off.
Yeah.
And they're not sticking around after to have some beers. They're not getting beers during. And that's where the venue's making that money. And it's just... And, like, look, that's not on the consumer as well. Like, costs are high and whatever, but it's hitting artists and it's hitting venues.
Yeah. And it's so true because I went to a gig not too long ago, like probably last week before, and we had drinks at home. We're like...
Mum says we've got drinks at home.
But no, you go to the bottle on the way home from work the day before. You pick up a 6-pack, which is going to cost you like $24. You just have a couple of drinks before you go out. You maybe have one drink at the venue, and even that's going to cost you nearly the cost of a fucking 6-pack. If you buy 2, it's already over.
Yeah.
And watch the show, and then you get an Uber home. And it's shit that you have to choose between an Uber or staying out and celebrating or just making the most of the night. Because even gone are the days of, you know... I don't think I've eaten at a venue in the best part of a year or two.
Like when we were younger, you know, you'd go out, you'd have a few beers before the bands come on. You might, depending on how committed you were to seeing the whole set, you might pop out during the set to grab another round for the boys, or the girls,
big time.
Whoever's playing, whoever's come along. After the show, depending on if you've got places to be, you might stick around afterwards, shoot some pool, have a chat, hang out, go to the merch desk, buy another couple of rounds of drinks. Like, you're not doing that anymore because I've just racked up a $96 bill
just to get in there.
Yeah, and that's without paying for a ticket. That's without paying for merch. That's without Again, it's not the consumer's fault. It's not really the zoo's fault. Like, they have to make their money somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And the bands have to make money too.
Yeah, exactly. It's that cost of living where we don't have the discretionary income to go, I would like to have a little fucking splurge on a ticket to a show and enjoy a night out.
But how fucked is it that because of all of those things, we, as the consumer, have to go, well, fuck, I'll buy the ticket to the show and I'll give the band money, but by doing so, I'm not going to be able to buy anything at the venue. So you're giving the band money, but the venue who's putting it on get nothing. Like...
And the problem is that when the venues inevitably close, like is happening,
there's no bands.
Where's the band? Well, I mean, there are other venues. Brizzy's lucky. We've got plenty of great venues.
But there's not... It's these... Like, we spoke about it on the podcast that everyone will listen to next week.
Yeah.
But there's no longer a pathway for bands coming up.
Yeah.
So with all these venues shutting down, people... It's very easy for people to go, oh, well, we've still got the music hall, we've still got River Stage, we've still got Hordern Pavilion, like Margaret Court Arena, all that shit. We've got the stadiums, we've got the arenas. But how do bands get from bedroom production to those without playing live?
Yeah.
Like...
It's hard.
Yeah, because, I mean, even rattling off names that I've seen at the zoo, I've seen Soho there, I've seen I've seen international bands like Knuckle Puck, who are a huge pop punk band from America. Like,
Yeah.
I reckon I've seen, there's been so many bands that I've seen at the Zoo who were just on the brink of breaking out. And I mean, even now, you've got bands that are on that brink now who are just getting into the Zoo
Yeah.
before they shut down. Like, Between You and Me and Towns are touring there very soon.
The Beaches just played there.
The Beaches just played. Like,
I mean, and, like, emblematic of that pathway, one of the... we can go into the best shows that we've seen at the Zoo, but super emblematic of that is I think it was their first show in Brisbane, Gang of Youths, play to maybe 20, 25 people at the Zoo in 2014. They're a huge world-conquering band now that had that, not first step, let's not go too far, but like had that step where they could... That was a step on the path to that journey. But if you take out that step, it's a big jump from below that to above that.
Yeah, and everyone's got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Like, the biggest bands in your Spotify, like Taylor Swift started, she was playing a fucking venue the size of the Zoo at one stage.
Yeah, exactly.
But no one, like, it's so easy now for people to go, but, it doesn't matter.
Even the band that you love on TikTok, that song on TikTok that you think is the greatest song and it's got billions of streams, when that translates to playing live, unless that band... like has 5 or 6 songs that had that billion of streams. They're playing at a venue like the Zoo. They're playing a venue maybe slightly smaller, maybe slightly bigger, but they're playing a venue that's like the Zoo in your city.
Literally.
And we're losing that.
We talk about it all the time. We had Chase Atlantic on, and they are huge band. Huge band. Like, we're talking multiple, like 20 million monthly listeners. And their song went viral on TikTok, but they've got fans all over the world, except really in Australia.
They are Australian, to clarify.
They are Australian. Like, they come from Cairns, moved overseas to make it big, and they did. Like, that's really hard to do, so full credit to them. But when they came over here, they were playing a venue not much bigger than the Zoo. If not the same size. Granted, sold out, but in the grand scheme of things, imagine having 20 million monthly listeners coming over and playing to a 400 cap room. Like, people underestimate like other people's interest in seeing a gig, and
it's just, I think it also like and putting on my fucking capitalist hat for a second, like having that opportunity also breeds competition. Like it keeps prices down. If there's 2 shows that are on the same night, like market forces still work. People have to have a lower price to get you into their show when you have other options on available. You take out the venue, that takes out another place where people can play. And as we were talking about in previous weeks, there's a higher concentration of venues and services and providers that are all kind of being bought up and sucked up by the bigger corporations that are like putting them into like a vertical system where they all like everything's sort of like funneled in. And that's great for like some things, but when you're taking away competition, it means that it's one less thing that they have to compete with, that they have to think, we've got to keep the prices, competitive with this. It's just shit. It's shit for competition. It's shit for creativity. It's shit for everything.
It's lose-lose.
It's lose-lose. No one wins here. It's just shit.
You can't win, can you?
You can't. So I suppose RIP to the Zoo, closing in July. You've still got a little bit of time if you're in Brizzy or near Brizzy or anywhere if you want to come up to see a show there in the next couple of months. But
not for long.
Not for long. Make it quick.
But I know the news, if you're outside of Queensland, you don't really see it, I guess. But the news everywhere is, I think the government is trying to save the Zoo, which sort of shows how bad a shape the music industry is in. Because if you've got the government now going, shit, like our arts and culture is being impacted. Like, that's not good.
100%.
But
I think, like, to put it into perspective, for interstate listeners, it at one point it was the only thing in the Valley that did that, and the Valley, for all of its positives and negatives, it is Brisbane's home of culture. It's the artistic home, it's the party home, it's a lot of things. It's a fucking grubby place to be sometimes.
But at the same time, there's nowhere else in Brisbane where you can experience all of that stuff.
Exactly. And we're taking it away from the kids, from everyone, but especially the kids who are coming up who won't get to experience that. Like,
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go where you can get that kind of thing
No.
without it.
And it's a trial by fire for a lot of people. And you're right, it's not a great place to be sometimes. And as you get older, you experience that more and more. But fuck,
But there are the really good times to be had there.
you get the gigs in the Valley, by far the most memorable.
Yeah.
Like whenever I think of a great night out, it has usually involved a gig.
Yeah.
But anyway,
All right, Pete.
TBC. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, look, let's see how we go.
I'm not.
We can start a petition.
If Splendour was the untouchable music event in Australia and it got fucking Kurt Cobain, then yeah, I don't hold a lot of hope, but we will see.
Let's see how we
But
go.
anyway, on a lighter note,
Sam.
I wanted to play a bit of musical this or that. with
Okay,
you.
this or that.
So I've got
This or that festival's dead as well.
this
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
So musical this or that. I've got 6 this or that options for you.
Let's do it.
First answer that comes to mind. Don't overthink it. I just want you to answer.
Let's do it.
Fred again or Dom Dollar?
Dom Dollar, Dommy D.
I just said first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dommy D came to mind, did it?
Dominic Dowler.
I think you're overplaying it there. just be yourself.
Answer the fucking question. Don't soliloquize.
I'm just trying to get through. Troye Sivan or Savage Garden?
Savage Garden. I love Troye Sivan and Savage Garden.
Why? Anyway. Nickelback or Dragon Force?
Nickelback.
You'll be going through the fire and the flames for that, my young man, my young Warhammer. Shout out Herman Lee.
We should get him on the show. I reckon he's probably a really nice guy.
Let's paint Warhammer with Herman Lee. Herman, this is a personal shout out. Herman Lee, if you see this video, we would love to get you on the podcast, play Guitar Hero, and paint Warhammer. Yours sincerely, Sam and Maxwell. Have a fantastic evening. The Amity Affliction or Parkway Drive?
Herman Leavning, sorry. What?
Herman Leavning.
Have a fantastic Herman Leavning. Sorry. Sorry, I missed that
That's disgusting. I loved it. But the Amity Affliction or Parkway Drive?
one. Amity.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. That's going to cop some hate, that one. Oh, fuck.
Oh, why Amity? Just giving myself some leverage.
See how you feel today.
Yeah. When I edit this, I'll be like, oh, where do I want to go? And let's do it. The Amity Affliction or Parkway Drive?
Amity Affliction.
Going to cop some heat on that one. Oh, good choice. Rihanna or SZA?
Oh, Scissor.
Really?
Never
You've
been a
come
huge
around.
Rihanna person.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
She's got some bangers, though.
I've never, there's probably 3 songs that I'd say that I enjoyed from Rihanna, but we're getting too into it now.
Yeah. And Do You Pee Sitting Down?
But yeah, obviously. Don't we all?
Don't we all? I've got a thing to raise, and it's for the men. Lately, the more and more I go out, gigs, sporting events, nights out, the more and more I realise when I go to the bathroom, besides half the reason men use cubicles on a night out, there's actually a lot of more men lining up to use the cubicles to go urinals.
Yeah.
To go urinate.
Do a little poop.
Not a poop, just
A little front poop.
well, no, because you can see their feet standing up.
Why are you watching?
Well, obviously when I'm on all fours going between to see which one's available.
Look, I get pee shy.
Yeah, so do I.
I'm a little bit pee shy.
I think men are becoming more comfortable in their performance anxiety.
That's okay.
And
This
that's
segment has
okay.
been brought to you by Pilot. It hasn't.
No, it hasn't. But I have noticed that. Like, I think the days of urinating in front of 10 other men is not something that the modern day man thinks is normal.
Look,
It's always made me a little bit, uncomfortable.
we're getting into the nitty gritty of.
We are getting into the nitty gritty, and we've probably
gigging.
isolated 45% of our audience here.
Yeah, looking at the stats, I'd say we've isolated probably 20% of our audience here.
But it could be interesting, insight into the other dimension.
Jesus. I suppose so. I mean, I'm still a urinal user.
You're braver than I, sir.
If I've had beers, the pee shy goes away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you've had more than 2 drinks,
Oh,
well, I'm on the floor, but
yeah, you're just.
take me to bed. I've had a good night. Oh, it's 6:35. Time for bed.
Pub crawls with Sam are more like pub sits.
I love a 4 p.m. drink, so I'm in bed by 7.
Easy
Watch
done.
the news, get a bit of shut-eye, wake up, 6 p.m.
Right.
6 a.m. Anyway.
Sam, you sat down this week with Frank Turner
I did.
from the UK.
I don't know why I yelled that, but
I
I did.
did. I did.
I did.
Give us a little hint about what's to come here.
Jeez, you're really making me think. Little interesting story. Until... Talk about the anxiety through the roof. So until 5 minutes before I was on the air with Frank Turner, I thought we were interviewing Frank Carter.
Similarly named.
Similarly named. I don't know many musicians named Frank. I know 3.
Is it one of the guys from My Chemical Romance, Frank?
Frankie, but that's not who I was thinking of. I was thinking of the man who cancelled Coachella, Mr. Ocean.
Mr. Ocean himself.
Yeah. But, I went in thinking I was interviewing one person and ended up interviewing Frank Turner. Luckily, I had enough time to listen to his new album.
Yep.
Very, very nice man. We had a really great chat. He actually spoke about his fond memory of playing in Australia. He loves that. Well, he actually spoke really well about the zoo, which is ironic given we're talking about them here.
Yeah, right.
One of his first shows in Australia was at the zoo.
Right.
And he sort of just talks about being comfortable in his generation of musicians where you can be a comfortable touring musician that's not necessarily well known by the younger audience, but that's okay.
Yep.
And it was a really interesting chat. He's a lovely man. He is touring pretty much everywhere around the world with his new album. And we thought maybe not Australia, but...
Ooh. Forward sell.
There's a little bit of a forward sell there. You didn't tell me there was a tour. But anyway, I'll throw it to
always room for a tour.
there's always room for...
Unless you're at the zoo.
Rightio, Maxi is stuck on a train at the moment, so it's just me, but I am joined by the British singer-songwriter, a man of a career that I'm not going to even be able to fit into an intro, but Frank Turner, welcome to the show, mate. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, man. It's nice to talk to you.
And you're joining me from Berlin, but we did say off air that Brisbane, where we're based here, is sort of the peak Australian city. Can you give us a bit of insight into why?
So everybody who tours, who's not from Australia, who tours Australia, sort of gets presented with the Sydney versus Melbourne thing. And the answer to that question is Brisbane. I mean, I'm biased in a lot of ways. I'm biased because you guys have a more tropical climate, which is nice if you're from the UK. It's just like, it's fucking warm all the time. I can wear shorts. This is great. But also, the first show I ever played in Australia was in Brisbane at the zoo in 2010. And I was mind-bendingly jet lagged. And after sound check, I went out to get some food. And I was opening for my friend Chuck Reagan. And I'd never been to Australia before. And I didn't really know what to expect. And I was in like a kebab shop getting a burger or whatever the fuck. And this guy came in and was like, oh shit. And he had like the entire lyrics to one of my songs tattooed down his entire arm.
Jesus.
And I was just like, where's the camera? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is too much, man. But it made me love it. Yeah, right, exactly. But I mean, also, you know, again, I'm going to upset somebody by saying this, but fuck it. Like the last Australian tour we did, which was in November last year, my favorite show of the tour was in Brisbane.
Well, shout out Brisbane Vegas, everyone in Brisbane. If you know, you know. I mean, I feel like
there we go.
We're very lucky here in Brisbane, but yeah, if you know, you know. I mean, it's interesting you brought up the zoo because there's very sad news in Australia at the moment that after about 32 years or something, it's actually shutting down. So it's
oh, really?
Yeah, it's the music scene in Australia is struggling a little bit. We've got a lot of cancelled festivals and the venues just aren't struggling. But shout out to the zoo anyway. We love you. But Frank,
Absolutely.
the way we open up the show every week is jumping in your Spotify, jumping in your Apple Music, getting an idea of what you've been listening to as of late.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, so loads of stuff. I think everybody, certainly once you reach a certain age, you sort of have phases where you're kind of like, there's new shit you're excited about. And then there's phases where you kind of retreat into your comfort zone and just listen to the same 3 Propaganda albums forever or whatever. And like, actually right now, I think is a really exciting time for punk rock collectively.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's so many cool new bands coming through. So my current favorite band in the world is a band called No Bro from Canada, who are just brilliant.
Okay.
And like, I love their records, and we played a couple of shows with them a couple of months ago, and they were just so good. But there's Jen and the Degenerates, there's the OBGMs, there's the Meths, there's Mannequin Pussy, there's Teenage Jones from Australia. Like there's I just feel like there's a new generation of punk bands which is completely distinct from my time in punk rock, you know, and I think that's great. Do you know what I mean? It's not kids on the tail end of what I was involved in playing catch up. They don't fucking know anything about me or any of the bands I toured with, and that's great. That's how it should be, you know what I mean? So like there's a lot of really, really exciting music coming out.
I love that. It's actually brought forward a question I was going to ask you about Teenage Jones anyway, because by the time everyone's listening to this, the new album will be out, Undefeated, and one of the tracks on that has, well, it's featuring Teenage Jones, which is absolutely awesome. Yeah. I mean, like you said, punk across the world, Australia, the UK, it is sort of blowing up again, which is great. But how did that sort of partnership come along? Because seemingly from the outside, it's, you know, we're on the opposite sides of the world.
Yeah, totally. I mean, well, it's worth saying that, I mean, there was a degree of the record label encouraging these things. I find it kind of, one of the things I find interesting is that like the hip hop world figured out collaboration as a concept a long time ago, and like both commercially and creatively, that it's a cool idea. And the rock world at the time was like, no, thank you. And then now we're all kind of going, oh, wait a second, this is a really good idea. We should do this. So, you know, there was I was sort of encouraged to listen around and sort of come up with some ideas and all the rest of it. And I love Teenage Jones music, and they're phenomenally wonderful people. And they did such a fucking great job on that song as well. I mean, the original of the song is written from the point of view of 14-year-old me going to a record store and being kind of like floored by the fact that there was a member of the opposite sex wearing a Bikini Kill t-shirt. And it was like, cool, I'm never going to talk to her, but A. But it's quite a male perspective, and it's quite a teenage perspective, and that's sort of how it's meant to be. What I love about Teenage Jones's input is that they flipped it around. I said to them, they were like, what do you want us to do? And I was like, write a different verse, change the fucking lyrics, do you. And they flipped it around and made it kind of like they like cussing me out for being like a little teenage widow, and I love it. It's so good. Also, like, they're just really, really fun people to kind of be around. Like, they call me, this may be I'm going to sound so old, this may be a Generation Z thing, but they call me Legend all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, they email me and they're like, what's up, Legend? And I'm like, oh, thanks. You know what I mean? I don't know if everybody calls everyone Legend at the moment or whatever, but like, they're the first people to call me that, and I like that.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's a generational thing. I also think it's an Australian thing. We call everyone Legend, mate, and yeah, it's. Well,
don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Tell me that they call me that.
No, I was going to say it's certainly an endearing name. So it's not generic. But it's interesting. Before we dive into the album, because I do really want to talk to you about sort of the nuances throughout it, but Max and I, my co-host Max, we were talking last week in our episode that this decade, I mean, we're 4 years in, and it feels like there's no defining sound or defining genre that's sort of taking over the music industry. And you talked about punk music having a bit of a revival. From your perspective, having been around for, you know, as long as you have, seen
1,000 years.
Sort of, you know. You're born in, we'll say 1990, early 90s.
Yeah.
But from your perspective, experience in the industry, do you feel like there's a defining sound peeking its way through the industry, or does it feel as sort of spread out as it's ever felt?
I think one of the things I would say is that in the post-internet world, or the internet world, however you want to put it, music is much less kind of like monolithic or tidal, or however you want to put it, than it was when I was a kid. I remember when the Strokes arrived, it was just sort of announced that they were going to be the biggest band in the world, and then they were, and it was like you were just being told what you were going to be into now. It was because the only way of getting into music, really, unless you were super nerdy and underground, which I kind of was, but there was a handful of magazines, there's a handful of radio stations. That's it. Do you know what I mean? And nowadays, I guess somebody from a major label could announce that a certain band's going to be huge, and kids are just like, fucking whatever, man. Who cares? I have a Spotify account. I can listen to anything I want, and ultimately I think that's better. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think that we live in an era where there are necessarily going to be completely culture defining sounds coming through. And that's probably for the best. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel fortunate that Nirvana were huge when I was a kid, but because I liked Nirvana, but some people didn't, and so it's kind of cool. I mean, all of that said, the other thing about the 2020s is an obvious point, but we spent a few years locked inside at the beginning of it, and I feel like there was quite a lot of kind of quite downbeat, bedroomy kind of music that came out at that point in time, which has its merits and all the rest of it. But there's a fair amount of kind of modern pop music in the last few years, and I'm aware I'm not the target audience for it, by the way, but it just feels quite kind of gutless and energyless to me. Do you know what I mean? It's all a bit kind of wafty and sort of vapid. Do you know what I mean? And to go back to what I was saying earlier, I'm pleased that now suddenly it feels like there's some people who've got fucking something to say and is going to say it angrily in your face, because in terms of my personal taste, that's what I like to listen to.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And I mean, we could go down that rabbit hole sort of all night, but I do really want to talk about the new album because it's called Undefeated. It's out now if you're listening, so go jump on that while we chat. But it touches sort of all emotional bases, and for me personally, it had this real energetic yet melancholy yet slightly optimistic feel to it. And I can't talk about music in depth the way I'm sure you and some of your peers can, but what did you sort of see as the defining theme that brings all these songs into one album?
I mean, that's a good question. A lot of it, I think, is to do with me kind of flailing around trying to figure out who I am, which is a completely self-involved thing to say, because it fucking is, but it's my record, so whatever. But it's I'm in a slightly weird place on a lot of different levels. One of them is that I'm 42, and that's not a necessarily sexy punk rock age, and I'm not a heritage act at this point in my life, or at least I like to think I'm not, and I'm friends with NoFX and Bad Religion, people like that, you know what I mean? And they're quite a lot older than me, and they're still touring and doing their thing, but I'm not that, but I'm also not Teenage Jones, do you know what I mean? So it's kind of okay, so where do I fit? Also, as much as I do identify with punk rock as a concept and as a scene and all that kind of thing, I didn't really come up with a particular wave of punk rock in my career either. I didn't really come up with any sort of wave. And on some days of the week, I'm proud of that and I'm grateful for it and all the rest of it. And as a listener, I always love the bands that don't really fit or make any sense. One of my favorite bands is Jesus Lizard. And what I love about Jesus Lizard is they just kind of arrived in the early 90s, and they don't sound like anybody who came before them or indeed after them. And it's just if you were drawing kind of a map of musical genres and shit, they're just this problem. Do you know what I mean? It's who the fuck is this band? And to be, I don't know whether that is me, but to the extent that it is, cool, I'm happy about that, and when I started, I was friends with Jamie T and Mumford and Sons and did shows with them, and I knew the Gallows guys and I did a couple of shows with them and all the rest of it, but I wasn't in the popular imagination tied to any one thing or the other. And as I say, broadly speaking, that's cool. There are days when that can be a lonely furrow as well, do you know what I mean? And there are days when you see, in the UK right now, there's been a rash of kind of revival tours of 100 Reasons, and Funeral for a Friend, and Hell's the Heroes, and those kind of bands, which actually my old band, Million Dead, used to tour with a lot of those bands. And good for them, they're great bands, and I wish them well and everything. But if I think about it, it's what kind of revival wave would give my career a sort of late period boost? And I don't think there really is one. So all of that said, I think a lot of the record is me sort of trying to figure out quite where I sit and where I stand, and I don't feel like I've run out of ideas. I don't think I want to sit down, shut up, and fuck off. You know what I mean? But I also I don't want to sit here and write songs about high school because that's undignified and dishonest. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, so, you know, and there's songs like, you know, Ceasefire is a song about talking about kind of trying to make peace with my younger self about who I am now and how I live. And Show People is a song that's about my sense of identity at the end of the day is more kind of like occupation based than geographically based. You know what I mean? Like, I'm proud that I'm a touring person, you know? And when I was a kid, I used to read Henry Rollins, Get in the Van, and like it was the fucking instruction manual, you know what I mean? And like all I ever really wanted to be was just like a road rat, you know? And I kind of am. And that's fucking cool. So, and then the title track for the record, Undefeated, is a kind of summation of all of this. And, you know, the album title is carefully chosen, as you might imagine. What I like about the word undefeated is that it doesn't necessarily imply that you're the champion. It doesn't mean you beat everybody. It means that no one beat you, you know, and that's kind of how I feel, you know. It's like, I'm not the biggest artist in the world. What I do doesn't matter in the grand scheme of international politics and all the rest of it. But it's like, at the same time, not that many people make 10 records, you know, not that many people are still touring this kind of level 10 records in, and I fucking am. And even to take the even longer view, which the record does, like when I was a kid, my parents banned me from buying records and magazines and going to shows. They thought I was listening to the devil's music, which I kind of was, you know. I was listening to Cannibal Corpse when I was 11. Like, my parents were not stoked. And then,
I can see that.
Yeah, and like my piano teacher told me to stop doing music because I didn't have any aptitude for it. Do you know what I mean? And like all my friends laughed at me when I fucking shaved a mohawk and said I wanted to be in a punk band. I didn't, you know, and fuck all of them and fuck everybody. And that is an adolescent thing to say on some levels. I'm aware of that. But that's kind of what the record's about, is it's like, once all is said and done, once all of this shit has been discussed, it's like, I'm fucking still here. And to the very limited degree that I'm allowed to be, I'm proud of that fact.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, it sort of leads in well to what I was going to ask next, because you talked about your younger self and sort of learning to evolve and all those things. But you said that, or you have said that you've been working on tracks like Letters since you were a younger man. And what sort of felt right about releasing it now? Because I presume sitting on a song for even a couple of years, it's easy to just go, oh, I'll hold on that a bit, or is it the right time? So what sort of felt right about that one in particular?
That one, I mean, I would say that like a lot of that is, it's not overly kind of calculated, should we say? You know, a lot of the time songs, I'll finish a song and be like, yeah, it's good, it's not quite right, and I don't quite know why, and it's not coming to me this week, and therefore put that over there. Specifically in the case of Letters, the verse was in a major key once upon a time, and which wasn't right, because that feels kind of happy, and it was, the lyrics were the same and all the rest, but it was just, I was like, I don't know. So I sort of parked it, and then whatever it is, a couple of years ago now, I kind of went back to it, and it's not a radically progressive realization musically, but like I was like, hold on, this is a sad song, maybe I'll play this in a minor key, and then it was like, oh fuck, here we go, happy days. So you know, there's little things like that. And like, to pick another example, there's a song on the record called The Leaders. There's been a version of that around in my catalog for quite a long time, but I have a new drummer in my band, Callum, who's fucking amazing, and I love him. And you know, a big part of this record is the fact that my band's the best it's ever been, and I love them, and we're really, I'm gonna blow smoke up my ass, we're really good right now. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, let's use that. But I was sort of playing through the chords of The Leaders, and Callum did this thing which is on the record where halfway through he doubled time, and I was just like, that's it. Piece of that song, and suddenly this song's got a drive in a direction that it didn't have, you know. So, you know, these things come together. There's a lot of stuff in this record which I wrote in the last 2 years, you know. It's not all just sort of scratch from the cupboard, you know. But as I say, ultimately I sort of don't actually think about all this stuff that analytically. It's what feels good in the room, you know. Yeah,
gotcha. And before we as I said earlier, time is of the essence. So before we wrap up, I do have one more question for you, and that is, you're bringing the new album to stages pretty much all across the world, and it's something like you're nearing 3,000th gig. Is that right?
Yeah, we just announced that a couple of days ago, Mike. So I count my shows, and I have since the beginning, and it's a slightly OCD thing, but it's also kind of cool because particularly the first 3 years, it was just me. Like there was no one else on the road, so there's no one I can call and be like, "Hey, what happened in spring 2006?" Like, So I'm kind of glad I have that count. And ultimately, show 3000 on some levels, it's just a number ticking over. Who fucking cares and all the rest of it. But it's a good excuse for a party. So we're throwing a big old party, and we're going to have a lot of music, and it's going to be a really fucking big show as well, which I'm stoked about.
Oh, insane. And I mean, it'd be remiss of me not to, as an Australian. We talked about how much you love Brisbane, but there are a couple of notable exceptions, and that is namely Australia. And
hold the phone, young man, because let me tell you, right, in 2023, I did 2 Australian tours in 1 year, which in terms of fucking
that's a long way.
Air miles and jet lag is a fucking deal. And I remember, like, I knew I was going to do 2, and I finished the first one. I was opening for Counting Crows, which was awesome and a huge honor, and blah blah blah. But I remember kind of getting back from that one and just feeling fucked, and then just kind of looking at my tour manager and being like, we have to do that again in 6 months. He was just like, no. But anyway, right, that was 2023. It's in the past now. We have plans for Australia. Of course we're coming back. I can't tell you what they are now. I've got in trouble so many times for accidentally announcing stuff in interviews that I'm not supposed to, that I'm now quite well trained about this. There's more coming. And I mean, again, as we started, it's going to sound like I'm just saying this because I'm talking to you, but before that first tour I did in 2010 in Australia, for a few years before then, I'd been touring with my friend Chuck Reagan, and he always told me Australia is the promised land of touring. He's like, Australia's the best fucking place to tour. Just in terms of, like, he was like, the show's great, people are fucking great, but also, like, you get looked after well. I mean, the travel schedule's completely homicidal, but you stay in nice hotels, and everyone's great, and it's just the weather's generally pretty good, and all this kind of shit. And so eventually I just kind of said to him, all right, motherfucker, like, prove it, So that's how that first tour came together, is he was like, okay, I will. And he was right. And I love Australia, and I love the fact that I've played in Darwin, and I've played in Alice Springs, and I've played in Cairns, and I've played in Tasmania, and all the rest, Wollongong, and other places I can't remember. But, like, Australia has been very generous to me over the years, and I love it, and we will be back.
I love to hear that. You took the words and the question right out of my mouth. But if you are listening, get your ears around Undefeated, Frank Turner's new album. Listen to it wherever you get your music. And if you are one of our international listeners, there are very limited non-sold out spots, but you can catch him Europe, the US, buddy, everywhere except Australia and New Zealand for now. But
it's coming.
It's coming. Frank, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, man. And I hope that the next time I'm through Brisbane that we will get to say hi.